Peace. What's happening, Erica? How you doing? Okay. Run the jewels. So I've been laboring quietly, working on some things, and hopefully, and I want to share it. What I've been working on. Thus the title, "Run the Jewels." Um, where do I want to start? In the Hebrew script, when you're writing or forming any Hebrew script, any of the 22, it's traffic, any of the 22 Hebrew letters, there's a little, amongst many little hidden little secrets. One of them is that every letter in Hebrew is composed of a series of something called yods. That's Y-O-D, yod. So a yod is like the script that I guess you could say would coincide with the letter Y. Okay. But yod looks like a little, it looks like it would be an apostrophe symbol or a floating comma. That's what it kind of looks like. This right here. This is the mental retardation of just the average human. I mean, just can't. We just talking about basic common sense. Just ain't there. It just ain't there. Um, the yod is like an apostrophe or like a floating comma, and the yod itself uh, symbolizes the hand, or that's what the word yod is. It's the word for hand. Okay. So what you can deduce then by just knowing that is that in anything formed, spoken, or whatever in Hebrew, there's always hands involved. Now, what's so important about that, and I hope everybody can hear me, trying not to talk too loud. Um, what's so important about that is that once you understand the significance of just the word hand, it unlocks endless doors. All right. Explain. Let me give you an example. If the yod in Hebrew coincides with the hand, and each Hebrew script is composed of a series of yods, then that means each script is composed of a series of hands. If we know that this is a symbolic language, which all languages are, but this one has held on to a lot of important keys, is hidden in Hebrew. So knowing that, then you can't just dismiss the fact that the hands are involved in forming every script. So then you gotta just look at what a hand is and what it does. Something we talked about this. A hand can grasp things. It can hold things. It can control. It can receive. It can push away. Um, all depending on how it's formed. So that's very interesting. But the hand in being a tool used to grasp, it then naturally becomes associated with the mind, because the mind can also grasp, is what I'm trying to say. So there's that correlation. The I've mentioned this before and I'm gonna say it again too. Whenever you see a word that has the root MAN in it, it refers to hands, thus management. Okay, uh, and just look at that. Look at the word management. Let's just break that down, and let's not gloss over that. Man, man, uh, is hand. Ag, which is the root is ag. That means tension. Okay, ment is mind. Management. So taking controlling tension in the mind. That's management. Um, the word manure, it has what in the root? MAN. Hand. So manure literally means to spread with one's hands. Um, manipulate. So many words there. And then interestingly, the root MEN means mind. So then we say that hand coincides with mind. So if you got MAN is for hand, MEN is for mind. When you take those and just look at the consonants, they share MN, mun, MN, which supports the correlation between the hand and the mind. All right. I bring all that up and I always take that approach to everything of dealing with etymology because it, I have discovered, is one of the major keys to just any movement that you make, be it mental, physical, spiritual, whatever movement you make. It's important to move from an understanding of the roots. Let's just take for example, okay, etymology is the study of the roots of words, okay, which we could also say is the DNA. We talked about this previously. Well, to understand why it's so important to know roots, we've got a whole new food market, or uh, whatever you want to say, a series of products called GMO, genetically modified foods. The way that those were able to be created was through a group of people peeping into DNA of naturally occurring fruits and vegetables and animals, and studying the DNA in a Frankensteinish way to create something else. Now, take away the moral component in the whole GMO thing and just look at the brass tacks. It comes down to this all comes from somebody studying something's DNA. Look what you can do if you can peer into something's DNA. You can, if you got a warped sociopathic mind, you can say, oh, I'm going to challenge nature itself. Or if you're not looking to be an adjutant to the natural flow of things, you can say, if I can peer into the DNA, I can have greater understanding. There's a reason why on the tree of life there's one position for wisdom and there's another one for understanding. When you first look at it, it's like, man, that's kind of like redundant. It's like they're basically saying the same thing, and that's exactly what I thought when I first saw it. It's like that's just some just some intellectual masturbation. One is wisdom, Hokmah wisdom, and Bina is understanding. But no, they both have a very important role in the flow of energy. You know, wisdom, wisdom, in the sense that it appears on the tree, is an initiatory action. It is a movement towards, because when you're moving on the tree always goes, uh, it always goes left to right, from the top down. As far as its initial movement, the initial movement is left to right. Then it slides to the left, then it goes left to right again, diagonally. Then it slides to the left and diagonally to move from one level. I should have said it this way, it make more sense. To move from one level to another, it moves diagonally from left to right. So comes down from Kether to Hokmah, and then Hokmah takes the masculine action of sending it over to Bina, where it has to be received. So it could be like Hokmah would be the mouth and Bina would be the ear. Okay? It receives, therefore it understands. When something stands under something, it receives the tension of whatever is coming from above. You know? So that's understanding, that's reception, that's hearing. Okay. I got off on that tangent and lost my damn train of thought, but I'm gonna catch it. Got it. Okay. So you always got this dynamic going back and forth of energy moving. It'll come back to me. Shit. Either way, I had to go back and look at the video, and then I realized, like, you couldn't remember that. So again, we see two when you look at those top spheres, those or what you call the upper supernals is again, it reflects the mind and the hand connection. The mind and wisdom, the hand and understanding, them being both the same thing, but they take on different forms to complete this circuit. All right. With that said, because I can't remember what the hell I was had originally started with that. What I have created is something that utilizes this science of giving and receiving, and uses the two correlating aspects of the mind, being the mind and the hand. Something sending something to something and sending it back. Volleying, a relationship, a flow of energy, a rhythm, a tick and a tock. Why this is significant is that, again, this is where I started out talking about the hands. One secret I think for the use of the yods in the formation of any Hebrew script is that it's telling you on a very mundane level, you and I always have a hand in our reality. I'm going to say that again. The yods are used to form every Hebrew script, and yod referring to the hand, because it is a reminder that you and I always have a hand in shaping our reality. And I think it is very important to know that at this time, this particular time. I think now that I remember that the reason I started talking about the Kabbalah, the Tree of Life, was because I was talking about etymology. Etymology, knowing the roots, been able to peek into the DNA, you, if you're not looking to disrupt a flow, by understanding the flow, it's like learning how to swim. If you learn how water flows, then you're learning how to swim. Therefore, you're not fighting water, you're understanding the current and you learn how to use it. All right, I'm filibustering because I need to get somewhere and park. I'm gonna park at this gas station here in a second because I want to read something, and it explains why I always take this route of wanting to dig into the etymology um, to explain things, and it's not just for um, intellectual banter. It it we use words all the time, you know, and words are used on us. But if we just take the Bible, and if the Bible says that the Christ figure in the Bible is the Logos, which is the Word, and then this same Christ figure said, "Greater things ye shall do," then couldn't we couldn't we deduce then that we should at least be able to become the Word instead of just using words and being used by words? Becoming the Word is equivalent to learning how to swim, because word means sound, sound means wave, and wave refers to water. So learning the Word and become it and utilizing the Word and experimenting with the Word allows us to become the Word, which is becoming the Christ. All right, the Christos. So I want to read something I've read before, but I want to read it again. Peace to everybody. I don't know if anybody was okay. We got y'all up in here. We got what's up, Brianna? What's up, M. Will? What's up, Dap Dunlap? What's up, Yoel? Okay, I want to read this real quick. This again is coming from Anacalypsis. This is volume 1. This is by Godfrey Higgins. This book was first published in 1836. And this is why, again, we say it's important to have a good base of, if you're going to read, it's good to have a good base of books from, 1940s back, okay? I'm not saying they all have to be, but it's a good basis to have. This is what he said. He says, but the truth is, the abuse of either is, and with respect to etymology, however uncertain it may be, it is the only instrument left of us for the investigation of ancient science, all others having failed us, and the certainty of facts discovered by its agency will depend upon the reason and probability which the etymological deduction will possess in every individual case, and of each case the reader must be the judge. But the real truth is that etymology is not run down because it is not calculated to discover truth, but because it is calculated to discover too much truth. Wow. Published in 1836. He goes further to say, it is evident then that if we can find out the original meaning of the words which stand for the names of objects, great discoveries may be expected. I repeat, the science of etymology is the standing but for the shafts of every fool. If a witling be so foolish that he can ridicule nothing else, he can succeed against etymology. The true and secret reason for opposition to etymology is that the priest, knowing it is by its aid only the ancient science can be discovered. I just want to back up and read this again. Now this is heavy. He says the true and secret reason of the opposition to etymology is that the priest, knowing it is by its aid. Now let me just, because he that's not the most well written. He's saying that the priests know that people who understand how to use etymology, there you go, Yoel, essence, that's it. They know the people can get to the essence of something, of their whole existence, if they know how to get to the core of a word, because words don't just pop up. They have been morphing and shifting and changing from one source throughout the time continuum of man. Okay. The true and secret reason of the opposition to etymology is that the priest, knowing it is by its aid only the ancient science can be discovered, have exerted every nerve to prejudice the minds of youth against it. After all, what is it but the science of explaining the meaning of words? Its certain uncertainty, everyone must admit. Wow. Wow. Okay? Now, I want to read you something else. This is coming from, these, if you want to learn about Kabbalah, these are the type of people you want to get. A lot of this new stuff, they just be copying. These are two excellent books on Kabbalah. Let me show you that, and I know for sure that a lot of the newer books just straight up copy this stuff, because I bought one, and it's just, I wish I had it with me, but it's straight up copied this. Now this is a must-have. Peace, Ricochet. Mystical Kabbalah by Dion Fortune. Let me tell you about Dion Fortune. Dion Fortune was a member of the Golden Dawn, okay? The Golden Dawn Society. She was I guess you'd call her like the second tier of Western occultists, okay? Second or third tier. Let's call her third tier, because she's living in the early to around Depression era, 20th century. So she would be a contemporary of the lady Corinne, I can't even remember, Helene, that I talked about. Okay, Dion Fortune had, she mentored a guy named William G. Gray. Okay, so you always want to kind of do your due diligence and see how these people connect, because that's one way you can know when you're getting some bona fide real stuff, is you kind of find these connections. Like if you know William Gray is connected to Dion Fortune, then you know, okay, this is some more serious stuff to consider. All right, just based on what she did. All right. He's got something interesting in this book called Kabbalistic Concepts. Now, this was published originally, I want to say it was originally published in 1984. So I guess this was toward the end of his life, because he was born in 1918, I think. He was born in 1913, excuse me. So yeah, he's toward the end of his life when he publishes this, all right? This quote right here. He says, a prized possession of every serious Western occultist should be a good etymological dictionary, which clearly defines the meanings of words, their origins and applications. A word by itself is no more than a noise or a scribble. To make any magic with it, there has to be a compression of consciousness packed into its pronunciation, And the greater the compression or amount of meaning concentrated behind such a focal point, the more magical that word will become. There is no magic in any word per se, no matter how peculiar or arcane. There are simply words which make better containers of specialized consciousness than others. Really hone in on this last part I just read. There are simply words that make better containers of specialized consciousness than others, possibly in one human language only. The art of creating ritual scripts depends on knowledge of such words and combining them so as to create a format which will process and pattern the energy of any consciousness using them. Once again, it is validating. It's beautiful to discover something on your own and then to come back and find it in a book. Because I done had this book for years. I just read this the other day, as far as the part I just read. I never even ventured back to chapter 23. And I don't know why. I just, it's kind of like when the OG would say he would drop a book down and it was just open up on the page. I wasn't planning on going to a chapter called Rationale of Ritual. I just was like, well, let me look at this, and it just so happened I find this. Okay, that's just beautiful. So that's the foundation information for what I want to tell you about actually me running the jewels, because I'm running some jewels for y'all, for me, for us, based on my years of understanding. No, backtrack. My years of studying. Let me pump my brakes. My years of studying the words, not just studying words, but experimenting with things, experimenting with words, with believing in the power of my words, and the believing in the power of my ability to manifest, to put my hands on something, So I came up with something. This is a document. It's about 5,500 words. It is called Scribe It, Say It, Sex It. This is not speculative. This is real life conveyed in very, if I should say so myself, very well written text. So this was created by myself, and its purpose is, again, scribe it, say it, sex it. It is the ultimate guide to conscious manifestation. Now, let me tell you what's so valuable about this. One thing that's so valuable about this text I put together is that I don't skip around, meaning I don't jump into do this, do that, gimmicks, tricks. It's methodical, because I'm not trying to do this for impatient people. This is not for people who look for quick fix things, or who look for tricks, or and it is for the type of people that I want to be around. It's the type of people I want to attract. People who actually, when you recommend stuff, that they actually go and they might actually go and buy a book. God forbid. This is for you people. This is the Don Dada right here. I'm gonna tell you why. The approach I take to these videos, I take this methodical approach as far as like I like to go and break down words. Let me tell you what I've done here. I have gone in and taken such words as imagination, concentration, ritual, ceremony, book, word, all these things I've broken them down, looking at the etymology of these words. Why? Because we just read and told you. It's one thing just to go and participate in things. It's another thing to really, really know what you are participating in. This is not an era to be lazy. It is an era to utilize. You have access, we have access to all types of information. And one thing that can do is can retard your hunger to know. Because typically people are going to be more hungry to know when they're denied access to knowledge. So it has possibly been retarding people's growth by just having so much at your fingertips. You can go on the internet and type in this, find a video of this, find a video on that. You get a dopamine rush, endorphin rush. You feel like we was kings, we was queens, you know, and you wrap your head up, you grow your dreads out, and nothing changes. This is something that takes some applied effort. First of all, you got to put the effort forward to sit down and have the patience to read 5,400 words, you know, but there's no wasted words in here. I just want to read you a little something, and let me make sure you understand what this thing really is. It's titled "Scribe It, Say It, Sex It." It's the ultimate guide to conscious manifestation. What it is using the powers of writing, which is why you had the seraphim, or Sephardim, which are the books. You've heard of Sephardic Jews? Well, the Sephardim are the books, the scribes. Okay, there's a magic to scribing, to writing. There's a magic also to saying what you have written, and then there's a definite power to consummating what you have written and said with sexual intercourse, because in essence all three of these activities are very sexual. Writing is a sexual activity. Speaking is a sexual activity. Don't think so? Okay, here let me give you an example. When you write, you use a tool. The tool becomes the phallus. Look at a pencil. Look at the Washington Monument. You see a similarity? You see something that's a shaft that comes to a point at the end. A pen or a pencil is a shaft. It's a penis. It's a phallus. The paper is a vagina. You take the pencil or the pen and you dig into the paper, which is called scratching or scribing. Okay. When you speak, our mouths are built, or the bell is built as a model of the human mouth, as one model. The bell is a big open cavity that has a piece in the middle that hits the walls, is what creates the vibration or the sound. Well, you have a cavity called your mouth. Your tongue would be the bell on the inside, or the phallus that hits the walls and creates vibration, which is speech. Sex speaks for itself. Sex is sex. It is two existences that appear to be different or polar opposite, which share a relationship. They are equally dependent on each other. The bell, if there's not a proper cavity that the bell can touch, it can't cause a vibration to create sound. If there's a cavity but there's no bell to strike it, then sound cannot be created again. When you understand what words really mean, you can craft. And I'm qualified to say this. I'm a professional writer. I write professionally for a living. That's my job. I see that words you can manipulate. Manipulate hands. If you know how to control words, man, that's very powerful. It's very powerful. It's one thing to be able to write and say and craft, but to actually know the DNA behind it, it takes it to a whole nother level. This is a guide to help you accomplish that by teaching you how to look at something and see more than what you actually see. So I want to read a little bit of what's in here, because you might think it's just like, well, I still don't know what the hell is this. I'm going to read the introduction. It says, before we get started, know this. And with each section, major section, I got like a scripture. And the scripture is to give like I got this from reading a lot of books, like mysticism, books on mysticism and things. They'll take a scripture and basically they're showing the deeper meaning that the scripture is conveying. All right. So I lead off. I said, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Hosea 4:6. And this is where I'm going. Subheading, bitter pill. A pervasive attitude and mindset I've noticed among many people is an insistence upon separating themselves from the art of studying, which includes the discipline of reading. This can partly be attributed to the birth of the information age and the explosion of social media. As a result, we can see a change in the way humans think, function, and feel. Thus, even people who deem themselves enlightened still fall prey to the environment we live in unless they are completely unplugged from the grid matrix. Here are some specific problems that are abound. Loneliness has skyrocketed. Our attention spans are shorter. Selfishness seems to be the order of the day. Some of us really struggle with concentrating. The general capacity to love has greatly diminished. This is not to promote gloom and doom, but we can't pretend that the world isn't becoming increasingly worse right before our eyes. Thankfully, all hope is not lost. We still have the final say-so about how we'll respond to and shape the dynamic world we live in. Next subheading is the light. In the midst of the negativity described above, there is still light. It's you. It's in you. The question is, are you willing to cultivate it? This is an essential question to both ask and answer, because it is your primer to being drawn out of water, while the rest swim aimlessly until they run out of steam and drown. Now this section, this next part coming up, it leads up, I say, read this carefully. And I want you to listen carefully. And I want you to read this carefully when you get this document. I want you to read the whole document carefully. Don't try to cliff note this and skim over it. Read it carefully. In these times, the most dangerous thing to your existence is to be stupid. Again, being stupid is hazardous to your health. Thus, you must fight with all your fervor to maintain some semblance of common sense, intellect, imagination, willingness to become more disciplined, memory, and humor. Be lighthearted and open-minded so that you can learn, experience, and further cultivate your light. Neither this document nor the activities recommended within it are intended to be name it and claim it or set it and forget it cards. That's not how it works. My efforts center around helping you to expand your mind to allow energy to flow to prevent stagnation. Thus, you will make the final decisions about how to specifically do things under the direction of your spirit. With a more focused mind, though, you'll have better confidence and more effectiveness. With all that said, this is not magic per se, yet it is. What I mean is, it's not a trick. It instead involves opening yourself to a process that you actively direct. For the record, this does not deal with invoking anything outside yourself. Instead, it will help you to ignite your own creative powers. Therefore, I provided some startup information in condensed form. And yes, when I say startup, that's what I mean. The basics, the elementals. This is an important approach to take because with the internet, it's easy to skip and hop around like you're eating at a buffet. The problem with buffets, though, is that you get full for a while, but you're soon hungry again with no groceries at home. This manual then can be likened to a grocery list that comes along with some recipe suggestions. Therefore, you can stock up on some food and have a home-cooked meal. Those are always the best kinds. All right, that's how I open up. The next section I'm going to go to is if we're talking about this is conscious manifestation, then we need to do the etymology on the words conscious and manifestation. And I think a lot of people would have done themselves a lot of good before saying that they're conscious and they all these different terms they give themselves, if they would have taken the time to really investigate what it really means at its core. And then when you really discover what it really means, you don't feel the need to really talk about it as much and pontificate and piously discuss your consciousness. You would be more driven to be it. Again, to become the word instead of just using words. Become the word. So we start out by breaking down what is conscious manifestation. So all this stuff I'm giving you is preliminary. What you're going to get, though, is I'm going to give you an actual, instead of a ritual, we're going to say arrangement. Because I want to demystify some of these terms, because that's all ritual means, is an arrangement. It's joining something together, which I'm going to reiterate that in this document too. That's something people need to understand, because I remember somebody that I know used to always just be eager to do a ritual. We got to do a ritual. I'm like, what are you talking about? What is this thing that we have to? Do you see, when you understand language, you don't have to go around saying that we need to do anything. A ritual is as simple as you make your mind up, you develop a skeleton structure, and you agree to follow through with it, and you have confidence in it and confidence in yourself. That's the extent of what your ritual needs. It doesn't require like we got to do something. And see, that's because of misconception and a misunderstanding of language. Because most of us got into this type of information through watching some videos and shit, and you watch a couple of videos, next thing you know, you dropping on your mama and your aunt and your sister, and you just done went overboard. But when a lot of things, we skip steps, never learn how to tie our shoes, and next thing we know, we in 5th grade. There's a reason for kindergarten. There's a reason for 1st grade. There's a reason for elementary school, for you to get elemental training. So a lot of people just need to back up, because a lot of people I know done got burned out. They done got burned out. They done went to every lecture. They done watched every video. They done, done burnt sage, done been through bags of sage, and you never learn the basics. So then you be around here, an adult walking around with your shoes untied, because you never learned how to tie your shoes. This is the shoe tire right here. This is the shoe tire. I was able to create this because, Yoel, piggybacking on what you're saying, I am a master student. I am not a master teacher. I'm a master student. I'll never run out of things. If I had the time, I got so much stuff that I'm always digging, because I'm not a know-it-all. I'm a master student. So this right here is kind of the equivalent of us being in a class together, which life ultimately is a class. And maybe I'm an upper level student or something, and I've taken some notes. I've been through some training. I've got some on-the-job experience, you know what I'm saying? And I'm sharing some notes. That's what this is. But make no bones about this. My brother, before I got into personal training, told me, never have anybody do an exercise that you can't do. And that always stuck with me. And it's something very simple, but it's a through line that goes through everything, because I feel the same way about this. This ain't nothing I just sat down and went through some books or went on in the internet and copy and paste. No, this is, let me tell you how you know it's real. It's real when you come up with something and it comes out of you, and then you go back to the books and it's like, and they confirm. That's when you know That's the spirit working. I mean, I hate to make it sound spooky, but I'm telling you, you know, that's what's up, Dark Truth. You need to get you one of these. So what it is I'm going to give you an actual arrangement that I've come up with. And I'm going to explain the science behind. So I'm going to go into numerology in this, because I'm going to give you the framework of an arrangement or a ritual. You're going to figure out how you want to plug in, and you're going to understand what I mean when you read this. But this is in the words of the OG, this is an awesome smoker right here. This right here, you get your hands on this. Again, because when you read the preliminary stuff getting up to the actual ritual, you're going to be building your confidence, because confidence is built through knowledge and experience. So the first part of building your confidence you're going to get through knowledge, because I'm going to lay it on you, and it's going to be in very simple terms that you can understand. The rest then will be taken care of, which is the experience component. It will be taken care of you by actually following through with what I suggest you do for the time period that I suggest you do it. Knowledge plus effort. That's why I have a section here I lead off. I say faith without works is dead. Look, what's the point of watching all these videos and reading books and this and that if you ain't gonna get into the lab? You know, when you're in college, you know, when you take your sciences, they make you take when you take a science course, when you take a science course, they'll normally have you take the book course. I can't remember the actual term they would use, and then you have to do a lab. You have to do a lab along with the actual course. That's where you actually go out there and you mess around with a microscope and you know this and that. That's what the end part of this packet is about. It's a workbook. So that's actually for something for you to do. All right. What was I going? I'm trying to. One of the most powerful things in this packet that you want to definitely review is there's a section called The Power of Sex. Okay? Here's some of the subheadings. Sex magic hinted at in religion. I've got a section called A Darwinian Idea of Sex. I got a section called The Desire and Reside Connection. I have a section called The Climax. Intriguing. I have a section called The Science Behind Sex. I have a section called Finding the Right Partner. I have a section, because nobody's going to be left, it says, but I'm single. I got that section. I got something that talks about breath and heart. I got a section that talks about the numerological basis of the ritual. The ritual explained. I give you a diagram of how the energy flows. I explain the diagram. I talk about the proper behaviors you should have, and that wraps it up. Now here's the deal. Let's get down to the brass tacks. I'm selling this. Yes, I'm selling it for $11.11. That's it. $11.11. But I'm not going to put it on my website, because I want to know who got my shit. So you're going to have to email me at info@mastersofthecosmos.com. That's INF as in Frank O at masters, MASTERS, of the cosmos, COSMOS.com. info@mastersofthecosmos.com. And all you got to do is give me your name and let me know that you want it, and I'll send you a PayPal request to that address. When you pay it, I'll email it to you, because I want to know who's got it, because I don't want my shit getting bootlegged on the internet with these vagabonds and carpetbaggers who just be out here looking to steal people's content. This is copyrighted, but as an extra precautionary measure, I want to know who's getting it. So that I just want to know. Let's put it that way. I want to know. But this is a must-have document. Now here's what else I'm going to do. When you buy this for $11.11, you're not having to sign up for no Patreon. You're not having to sign up for no ongoing deductions from your account each month or withdrawals or whatever. You're not. It's not an ongoing class. It's just you're gonna get this, go on your merry way. But by you doing that, you're gonna get a buy-in. You're gonna get a buy-in on. I'm gonna do some little small classes or not classes. I'm gonna do small presentations that will be emailed to you electronically as I complete them. And I am under no obligation to send this shit and make it clear, because I'm not charging you every month. You're only paying $11.11, and if I didn't do nothing else, this is well worth more than $11.11. Just get it. You'll see. Bring the right mindset. Read the document, because I got a section there called Preparing the Vessel. You need to read it so that you can prepare your vessel. Shema, O Israel, hear. You need to prepare yourself to be able to hear, as in receive, as in become the Kabbalah, receive. And as I mentioned Kabbalah, one of the modules I'm going to teach on is the path of Netzik and Hod, or the path that links Netzik and Hod on the Tree of Life. And we're going to go and break down what those things represent and how they coincide with sex magic. Yes. We can sit and talk about how terrible the world is. We can talk about how dumb and dead everybody else is and how woke, we are and this and that. But what can be used in your practical everyday life? We can chase it. Because see, look, let me tell you something. You can tell the monks are separating from the chumps now, because you starting to see the wells running dry. Wells are running dry because, it's a tough game, to be anything other than a master student. It's like me and Dad was talking about one time. Once you come out doing music, once you come out as a dope rapper, as a trap rapper, D-boy rapper, you can never be seen working at Costco. But if you just come out with bars, you can work at Costco, and somebody might take a picture. It's like, yeah, I work at Costco. I'm making the dream come true. But once you come out and talk about how much coke you moving, how much heroin, and all these other things, you can't never be seen stocking late night at Walmart. That's why, shout out to the brother Black Dot. That's why I take on that moniker of a master student. Therefore, I never run out. I never run out. My cup runneth over, because I'm always hungry to know more. And this is through years of experimentation and honing and suffering too. You suffer your way to breakthroughs. This is a breakthrough, y'all. What I'm trying to tell you, this is a breakthrough. info@mastersofthecosmos.com. Email me, give me your name, and you can even say something like, "Hey, why you want the document? Why do you want it?" Something simple. This just because I want some. I don't mind some form of interaction. I'm not trying to sit and talk to everybody, but we can interact. Let's. That's magical in itself, because you're taking yourself out of a mechanical status of just being this non-feeling, uh, entity that just no. Let's interact. I'm a real live person. People have met me. I'm a real live. I cuss like a sailor on the phone. I'm I'm just who I am. You know, Shoot me an email. Let me know who you are, and I'm gonna send this out to you for 11/11. All right. I don't know what else I got. I think that wraps it up. Let's see if we got anybody. What y'all talking about? Right on, Ricochet. And I am the people who at any time who had a membership with my website, who a paid membership, I sent that out to you. Or if I didn't, it's because the if I didn't send it to you, it's because my email list is updated and I probably some names dropped out of the queue. So if you had a paying membership for Masters of the Cosmos, just email me. I'll send you one for free because that's just on the strength of things. Um, what else? Who else is in here? Dark Truth said, I'm very interested in learning how to learn. Right on. He says, Brother Panic says that all the time. Do the work. Word. Hands on ECP. That's right. Conscious thinker. Right, Yoel. Kind of decent. We need to hang on to some vestige of our humanity. I'm sorry. You know, I you need to connect with your tribe, you know, and um, sometimes it is good just to, talk to real people on the phone, or if you can meet in person, or because I'm telling you, man, it's we're down to some real 144 type thing going on now. Let's see. Brianna says, thanks, Jamal. Always appreciate your energy and time. Right on. You're very welcome. I think that's all I got. I'm going to wrap that up. But y'all hit me up. As you can see, I'm not trying to bludgeon you in your head with the price. It is, I guess I'm a humanitarian at the heart. I'm an Aquarius. And I always am eager, like you discover something and you kind of put something together and you like, I got something. It's like, shouldn't we, after years of watching the OG and other masters, shouldn't we be able to have some breakthroughs that we congeal all these different things and be able to come up with some new breakthroughs? Shouldn't we be able to do that? I feel like it. And I know we should, and I know I have. So with that said, hit me up, info@mastersofthecosmos.com. As always, I appreciate y'all tuning in. Stay down till you get up, and when you get up, stay down. Peace.